everyone, I'm Jessica Stutzman and welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. The Northwest Pennsylvania Canine Search and Rescue Team is a volunteer group that is dedicated to assisting public safety agencies in finding missing people. The team, who is on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, searches for lost or missing people in wilderness, urban, and disaster settings, both on land and in water. Joining us today to talk about this special organization are President Luann Gotti and Treasurer Lori Johnson and K-9 team member Zoey. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a couple of years since we've had your organization on this show, and I don't like that lapse in time because your organization is so special and does so many great things for the community. So I'm glad to have you back on for our viewers to learn more about you. And before we get too far, I want to introduce our furry friend on the floor.
Sure. This is Zoey, and she is a 9-year-old border collie. We got her from a breeder near Akron, Ohio, whenever we decided that my husband actually was looking at getting a dog for himself to train. And so she's actually dual-handled by myself and my husband. So she does trailing work with me, and then she's certified in human remains detection, both in land and water, for my husband as well.
And you said she's 9 years old. How long has she been on the team?
She's been on the team since she was a puppy. So the first day that we had her, she was out that week at training. She was 8 weeks old.
Okay, so she's very experienced.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and what are the benefits, do you think, of using dogs in conjunction with people or with humans for search and rescue?
The biggest thing with that is that dogs can cover a lot larger area in a shorter amount of time than people can, and they're able to follow specific scents, such as with a trailing dog, and locate where that person has walked and hopefully find that person a lot faster than what we could do.
And speaking of covering a lot of ground in Pennsylvania, how are you dispatched and what counties do you service? Because it's not just Erie County.
Right. So we are called out to assist either police or fire departments who are first dispatched usually to look for missing persons, or police departments. They contact us via a dispatch system, and we are called in, like you said, 24 hours a day whenever needed. We cover 6 counties in Northwest Pennsylvania, but we are also a part of a Pennsylvania one-call system, so we can be called out anywhere in Pennsylvania. We've also assisted with searches down in West Virginia and even in Canada.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. Yes. So you do cover a lot of ground. Yes. And there are, and you mentioned that Zoe's a trailing dog, but there are 3 specific types of disciplines within the organization. What are those 3 types?
Sure. The 3 types of disciplines that we have are trailing, which is where you primarily see the dog sniffs a piece of clothing. They are on a lead. They follow the scent and follow which way that person went, and they're looking for that one specific person. We also have air scent dogs that are trained to find any human scent, and they're trained to search large areas. So for example, the air scenting test that we do, one of the components of that is 80 to 120 acre area, and you have to cover it in 3 hours to find the person there. And they're looking for any human scent. So they're not looking for that one specific person, but anybody who's out there. And then we also have human remains detection dogs that are trained to locate people that have been deceased. And they're able to do that either on land or on a boat in the water as well.
And why would one dog be used, or what would a situation where a dog would be used, a trailing dog would be used instead of an air scent dog?
Generally, we'll use a trailing dog if we know where the person was last. So we know they left from their house, or they know we have a car that they left from. So we have a last known point that we can use to determine which way the person went. If we don't have that, then we could potentially use an air scent dog to run along trails or within an area that is near where we think the person may have been missing, and search a larger area that way with those dogs.
Okay, and with the trailing dogs, I understand they wear about a 20 to 30-foot lead. What's the purpose for that?
So the purpose of that is so that we know where they're going, because with trailing, it's about following that trail, that scent where that person has walked. So we're connected to them via that lead so that we can see which way they're going, check their body language to see if there's a turn somewhere. And so we generally use 20 to 30 foot, because any longer than that, you're going to get tangled up in things. In urban settings, we might use a shorter lead, maybe 15 foot, because of traffic and houses and those kinds of things. But it's definitely an art to weave in and out of trees in the woods with a lead.
And so I would assume, again, being the handler for Zoey, that you're very in tune with everything she's telling you.
You definitely build a bond with your canine partner, and learning their nuances and what they're telling you, and looking at their body language, their tail, their ears, their breathing, how fast they're moving, those types of things as well.
Okay. And the cadaver dogs search for, again, people that are deceased, either buried, elevated, on the ground surface, or in water. Is that right?
Correct.
That seems very difficult.
I guess in layman's terms, all dead people smell the same. So they're looking for that decomposition smell. So one of the things that's hard about that is there's a very large scent library. So bones versus somebody who's been dead and out there for several weeks when it's hot out is going to smell very different. So getting them to know the differences between, even though it all smells the same, there's different levels of that smell that they may be looking for.
Okay. And how do you practice that ahead of time?
We have certain aids that we use that we go out and we hide, and then they're able to locate them. And we, for elevated, we might put it up in a tree, we might bury it, but all able to then search the area and locate where it is. All the dogs have a trained indication then that says this is where it's at. So she actually will lay down at source.
Okay. And I understand that, again, as humans, we shed our scent quite frequently. And so that's how the dogs pick up these certain smells and then, like you said, get that indication. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And has Zoey ever been on the water?
She is trained on water, but she is not officially, or no, she has. Okay. Actually, in Canada, we were up there 2 years ago for a search for a missing kayaker that had fallen in the water. And so she was able to get out on the boat on that.
Okay, okay. And are you looking for your organization? Are you looking for a specific breed when you recruit new members, or are all dogs reactive of the same way in finding people?
Generally, we're looking for working breeds. So your labs, your shepherds, your collies, a dog that needs a job. And it really can be any breed. We generally around here look at the medium to larger breeds, just with our snow, especially, having a smaller dog is going to make it very difficult for them to get through the snow. But then the larger dogs too are hard to look at just because of their stamina. And so especially whenever it's a 90-degree day out there, they're not going to be able to go very far, cover a large area. But really, we're looking for that drive of the dog. So it doesn't necessarily matter the breed, but does it want to work?
Okay. And does a certain task, does it ever start with one canine member and then maybe finish with another member, or does that not happen?
We've done that before, where perhaps a trailing dog gets to a point where they've lost that trail, but they're sure that the person has gone that way. So then we might send in an air scent dog then to search that area around that point to see if they can find anything.
Okay, and we know Zoey, you said, is from a breeder near Akron, but do you ever accept shelter dogs into the program?
We actually have several dogs that are from the Humane Society or local shelters. So we have had dogs come in through the program. The biggest thing is that we do a max age of 2. So if the dog is older than 2, then we generally won't look at having them join the team, because it takes a while to get to the point that you're ready to look at certifying with them.
Sure. And so again, that's just an age restriction, but what other qualities and personality traits? You said like the working breeds. Is there something specific from that job again, or from that dog who wants to do that job? Is there anything else that you're looking for?
We're looking at, are they food motivated or are they toy motivated? Do they use their nose a lot? Are they sniffing things out? Are they searching for things whenever they're outside? Are they on the go, or are they more content just to sit on the couch and, just kind of lounge? So looking for that dog that, is busy and is looking for things to do.
And so you said there's some training involved, both for canine members and for human members. What is that training, and is there a test at the end to say, you've made it and you're on the team?
So the certification for dogs, there are different types of certifications that we utilize, either for the trailing or the air scent or the HRD, and we do request that all of our dogs get certified. But it's about a 2-year process to get a dog from joining the team, working on weekly trainings and preparing for testing. So again, if they start when they're 8 weeks old, they may not be ready till they're 2.5 to actually go out on actual searches until they get certified. But the team is training every week. It's at least 1 full day a week, along with additional trainings during the week. And the dogs learn a lot faster than the humans. The humans have a lot more things they need to learn. They need to learn to use compasses, look at maps, use GPS and other equipment. They need to learn survival skills out in the wilderness. So there's an awful lot to it. Joining a team like this is a big commitment. It's probably about 50 hours a month they're looking at in dedicating to the process. But it is definitely worthwhile.
Are there certain commands that are used across the board that the humans have to learn?
Usually with the dogs, the handler chooses what the command is. So they come up with a unique command that means you're now going to work and you're going to do this particular thing. I'm assuming with Zoey, she has 2 different jobs. She probably has 2 different commands so that she knows which job they're asking her to do. But it's not like a normal word like sit or stay, something that they would hear all the time. You use kind of a unique command.
Okay. And how many canine members and human members are currently on your team?
So right now we have about 10 handlers, canine handlers, about 13 dogs. We have a couple handlers who have more than 1 dog that they're working with. But overall, our team is at about 25 people. We have some people who are also what we call ground search responders who don't have a dog, but they're out at training every week and learning all the search skills so that they can assist with searches. And then we have a nice group of auxiliary too who assist with our fundraising and that sort of thing.
Are the dogs ever, and I assume to some degree, but are the dogs ever in danger of becoming injured while on a search mission?
There's definitely the potential for that. So one of the things that we do training on is canine first aid. So we require that our handlers and all the other members as well that are out in the field understand how to treat an injury if that does happen. Generally, the dogs, the biggest thing is they want to work, so you don't realize that they're injured until after the fact because they're still usually going to push through and find that person. So making sure that whenever you do get back from a training mission or even on a real search, checking your dog over, making sure that they're okay, that there's nothing wrong with their paws, that they don't have burrs in their fur, that kind of thing. So,
is there anything you can do ahead of time to mitigate some of those dangers?
The biggest thing is keeping them active, and so one of the things that we're currently working on is actually building an agility course for the dogs. So getting them used to going over things, under things, through things, making them comfortable on unstable situations, materials, so that whenever they're out in the field, if something were to happen, they don't get hurt.
Mm-hmm. I found with my own dog that you sometimes don't recognize that dogs are very, very tough, tough animals, and I don't want to say they tried to hide their injury, but you don't know that they're injured, and so just a situation that we ran across was we found out my dog had arthritis, but because she wasn't yelping or crying, I didn't think she was in pain. They're very, very subtle traits that your dog displays, but it's maybe not always whimpering or crying or something like that. So, And your organization does more than just train for the canine search and rescue. What else do you guys do?
We actually have, as Lori mentioned, the ground search responders. So they don't have dogs, but they're able to go out and lead a team of either firefighters or other search responders that can search an area while maybe a dog's not available, or there's someplace else that we have several areas that need searched. So in order to get as many people, sometimes we don't have as many dogs, but we have lots more people, so we can send them out. We also have several people who are trained in search management. So search and rescue is there's really a science to it. So you have to know where to put the person and where to search the areas and how to search the areas and what resources are needed. So that's definitely a very important part of searching that a lot of times people don't realize is part of it. We also have one of our members who is a UAV pilot, so a drone pilot. So we do have that capability as well. And then we're also trained in low angle rescue for ropes and litter. So if we have to do an extrication, if somebody is fallen down a ravine or something, we're able to bring them out.
Wow, that just sounds...
There's a lot.
It's incredible. It's truly incredible and very, very impressive. Can you share with us, certainly without naming any names or anything, but can you share with us some success stories from real life that you've both experienced?
Sure. I guess probably the biggest one that stands out in both of our minds is we had a search several years ago for a missing dementia patient here locally. And we actually did end up finding him approximately 24 hours after he had been missing, and was alive and was able to bring him back to his family, and they were very grateful for that. And so that was definitely a success story. Just recently, we had a search in Warren County where, again, a dementia individual had walked away from his home, and he was located, again, about 24 hours after the fact, and other than a little dehydration, was fine. So definitely going out and doing the searching and everything is very rewarding, especially whenever you locate that person.
And I can imagine, again, you found that individual and they were safe and healthy, and you found them within 24 hours, and so I feel like, like you said, time is of the essence. We have to find these people so quickly, otherwise it may take a turn for the worse.
We definitely recommend with the fire and the police departments, calling us out as soon as they know. We'd much rather be called and say, we actually had just that happen last week where they called us, they had somebody missing, and we're dispatching the team, and 5 minutes later they call, oh, we found her. That's great. We're okay with that, So rather than waiting, hours until it's dark now and the person's been missing for hours and hours, definitely the sooner that we're dispatched and get there, the less likely they've wandered as far away. Or if they're injured, the quicker we find them, then we can get them the medical assistance that they need.
Does the average call then take about 24 hours with the last two success stories, or is it longer? Is it shorter?
It depends. Usually on average, I would say about 5 hours is probably the average, but there are definitely times where we might be out there for a full day or several days, just depending on, the situation and how long, the police and fire departments, who are the authority having jurisdiction, decide to maintain that search.
And again, this is just really, really phenomenal work. And I know from experience, pets can be expensive, and running a nonprofit organization, you definitely have expenses that are incurred. What are those expenses that you face on a day-to-day basis, and how do you find the funding to keep your organization going?
So we have an awful lot of expenses. All of the equipment that we use, all the supplies, all of the gear in order to uniform our staff and uniform the dogs, it is very expensive. We have no funding. What we have is grants, fundraising, and donations. We were able in the last year to purchase a truck through the help of the Erie Community Foundation with a grant, and we're very excited about that. It gives us a lot of our search management equipment all in one place, all of our supplies, all of our medical equipment and extrication equipment all in one location. And that was very exciting for us, but it was quite a bit of work in order to raise the funds and get the grant for that. We are now in the process of fundraising for our long-term goal of having a building of our own. Right now, we don't have a place to call home. We utilize another nonprofit building in Crawford County that we rent space for to house some of our equipment, but we would like to have a place of our own. So we're always doing fundraising. We've had a 5K race the last couple of years in Harbor Creek. This year, we're hoping to host our first golf outing, golf tournament. We are involved with Erie Gives with the nonprofit organization or nonprofit partnership. We do T-shirt sales. We find money any way we can.
And I really would like viewers to check out your website, and I know you have a social media presence. That's where I'm sure you can find all of those events you're talking about.
Yes, we're always posting our events and advertising them. Yes, we'd like to meet new people and have them learn about our team.
Yes, and I was going to say you do a great job on Facebook. I saw you highlighting some team members, so definitely get online and check that out. If our viewers want to contribute financially or, again, give you their time volunteering, how can they reach out to you? How can they get involved?
We do have a website. It's nwpak9sar.org. They can find us on Facebook under Northwest Pennsylvania Canine Search and Rescue. And we have an email address, too, that you could put up. It's info@nwpak9sar.org.
Wonderful. And again, you need, both humans and canine handlers. But if somebody doesn't have a canine but is passionate about your mission, that would be welcome, too.
Definitely. We always are looking for volunteers, even if they just want to come out and hide for the dog one day. Hide for some of the dogs and spend some time in the woods and find out really what we do.
Yes, I love that so much. Thank you both for joining me on the show today. I'm so glad to have you guys back on.
Thank you very much for having us.
Viewers, we learned so much again about the Canine Search and Rescue team. We're so happy to have Zoey and the handlers and the members here in the studio today. It's such a great organization with a great mission. Again, hopefully you'll never need their organization, but they are here in your time of need and time of crisis. Please check out their website and their Facebook page for more information and events. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Millcreek Government Channel, and until next time, have a great day.